Welcome to Development Book Club. Today we begin a new year, a new category, and a new book, which is called Lovingkindness, The Revolutionary Art of Happiness by Sharon Salzberg. We'll cover just the first 3 chapters in the video today. In Buddhism, there's a category. Buddhists love lists, and we're going to be sort of touching on one part of one of their favorite lists. And this is the idea that some of the most beautiful and powerful states of consciousness that beings can experience are these 4 things, which are loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. These 4 qualities together are called the brahma-viharas in Pali, which is the language that the Buddha spoke. It's similar to Sanskrit, but not Sanskrit. Pali, P-A-L-I. These are called, so brahma-vihara. Brahma means heavenly, and then vihara means home or abode. So sort of these heavenly homes or heavenly abodes. We are discussing, this book obviously is about the first one, loving kindness, which again in Pali is Metta, M-E-T-T-A. Loving kindness. Let's make a distinction first about love. In our culture, we normally think of love regarding either passion or sentimentality. So passion is enmeshed with feelings of desire, wanting, owning, possessing things, suffering ultimately, really. Sentimentality is a sort of a copy or a facsimile of caring that limits itself to the experiences of pleasure. Sort of away from those things, if we look at Metta, on the other hand, it's unconditional. It's like water being poured back and forth between pitchers, if the pitchers are beings or people. It flows freely, taking the shape of each situation without changing its own essence, just like water would, right? And it is said that the Metta meditation that we're going to talk about briefly here originated when the Buddha first sent a group of monks into a forest to meditate, and it was a forest that was haunted by tree spirits or inhabited by tree spirits, right? And the idea here we talk about, so this word is loving kindness together. So there's kind of kindness and the lovingness, sort of modifying it, if we will, is that what unites us as all human beings is that there's an urge or sort of an impulse to happiness, which at heart is a yearning for union, for overcoming our feelings of separateness, so connectedness, right? And when we look at the most terrible addictions or appalling acts of violence that we can see or is reported on in the world, somewhere in those acts is always, and you'll find this, always an urge to unite, an urge to be happy. And this is the sort of the hope and the foundation of Metta, is that behind the most atrocious or difficult acts is this urge to be happy, and that is something that everybody shares no matter what. The power of Metta enables us to look at people and to affirm the rightness of their wish, and our own wish really, to be happy. So there's always sort of what's out there and what's in here. Metta is a binder or a connector of things together. It's an image. An image is given in the book that an angry heart is like a dry heart, and a loving heart is like a wet or moist heart, in this sense that in nature, 2 dry substances cannot cohere to each other. When we add wetness, 2 substances can bond, and only one of them, it should be pointed out, only one of them needs to initially be wet. Things can bind. This is what Metta is that wetness to the binding and connecting. This is why the Buddha said that sustaining a loving heart, even in the duration of a snap of the fingers, makes one a truly spiritual being. So it's that loving heart. And in the 3rd chapter, which we're going to cover just briefly here, there are different facets of loving kindness. So there's a story of an elderly people where there's 2 groups in an elderly home, and they are all given a plant. Group A, subset of the group, is told that they must care for and be responsible for the well-being of their plant. Group B says that the plant is theirs, but staff will take care of the plant and water it and take care of all its needs. And the group A, the people in group A lived considerably longer than the people in group B. It's a nice metaphor for sort of how we can improve our lives. And metta practice, in terms of like a formal meditation, is begun by directing loving kindness toward ourselves first and then others. If we're not able to see the goodness in ourselves or in someone else, then we reflect on that fundamental wish to be happy that I spoke about, that underlies all actions. Just as I want to be happy, all beings want to be happy. It's sort of a quote, a mantra that can be repeated. So furthermore, metta, as I said, is directed at first ourselves, then somebody who has been very good to us, then a beloved friend, then towards someone to whom we feel neutral, and finally towards someone with whom we have experienced conflict or whom we feel a lack of forgiveness with them. And this is the final step can be the most difficult because it's where unconditional love, where it's like conditional love, like, oh, you're a great friend, or you're just doing nice for me, or whatever. Like there's a condition there, right? It moves from that toward unconditional love. And these 5 steps I just rolled out in the question of 25 seconds, these can take months. The author talks about she spent 6 months moving from one to the next of these. Like we're meditating all day, every day. Metta is not about denigrating ourselves or lowering ourselves in any situation in order to uphold other people's happiness. It's not like win-lose in that situation. Authentic intimacy is not brought about by denying our own desire to be happy in an unhappy deference toward other people, sort of elevated above us. Not what we're doing here. Nor by denying others in a narcissistic sort of ode to ourselves. Metta means equality, oneness, and wholeness in that sense. And then a key from chapter 3 that they kept repeating about the facets of metta is that with metta, the intention is enough. So we form the intention in our mind for our happiness and the happiness of all. And this is different from struggling to fabricate some sort of feeling or to arrive at a feeling that we're trying to work on and cling to create out of our will and to make that happen. We just settle back and we plant the seeds without worrying about any immediate fruit to bear. So intention, not the result of a feeling a certain way. There are 11 advantages listed to metta. Again, a nice list. I don't want to read them all to you. Just a couple that the Buddha said were pretty interesting, I thought. It says that someone with an abundance of metta will sleep easily. They will wake easily. External dangers like poisons, weapons, and fire will not harm you. Your face will be radiant, and you will die unconfused. Awesome. How cool is that? We will continue with loving kindness next time and talk about some hindrances.